everyone, and welcome to another high-elo game of Age of Empires. Today, history comes alive as Barles, playing as the Aztecs in red, gets ready to defend against Liereyy, playing as the Spanish in green. Now all the players heard their herdables, explore their immediate surroundings, and try to get their butts up to Feudal Age ASAP. Not a bad time for us to take a look at the Civ matchup that we are going to be watching today. Take your mind's eye back to the 16th century, and let's take a look at the Aztecs, a warrior monk civilization. Their monks gain 5 hit points for every single monk tech that's researched, so a fully upgraded Aztec monk comes with no fewer than 100 hit points, which is ridiculous. Now, to help with the gold cost of upgrading your monks, which is pretty darn significant, any relics that the Aztecs collect generate a third more gold. So if you've got 3 relics, basically the same amount of gold that would be 4 relics for anyone else. Now, to support their monks on the battlefield, all Aztec military units are trained a little bit faster. Their skirmishers can be upgraded to get extra range and attack, which may prove very useful against a civilization like the Spanish. And their infantry can be upgraded to get a massive +4 attack boost, which is great news for their unique unit, the Jaguar Warrior, an overall middle-of-the-road infantry unit, but one that comes with a massive attack bonus against infantry. Now, to support their military production, Aztec villagers right from the very beginning of the game carry 3 extra resources. And if you take a look at the top left of your screen, you'll notice Barles starts every single game as the Aztecs with 50 extra gold, which means either the Aztecs get loom for free, or they can skill check their opponent with 2 extra militiamen right from the very beginning. Let's take a look at who Barles might want to skill check as Liereyy begins extending the might of the Spanish Empire out on the map with more and more scouting. As I mentioned a second ago, the Spanish in green, played by Liereyy, a paramilitary civilization that absolutely loves its gunpowder. Spanish gunpowder units fire 18% faster, and their unique unit, the Conquistador, is a heavy-hitting, less accurate mounted hand cannoneer with more HP, but less range. Now, to defend their costly units, the Spanish can train missionaries, which are basically mounted monks that have a lot less range, but also can't pick up any relics. And the Spanish can also upgrade their monks and their missionaries to convert enemy units a lot faster. Now, to support their military industrial complex, their villagers build structures 30% faster than normal. Their blacksmith upgrades cost absolutely no gold. And speaking of gold, every single time the Spanish research a technology, doesn't matter what technology it is, they get 20 gold back from the government. Think of it as a kind of a tax rebate that you get back from the whoever your local, federal, state, provincial, territorial government. So for example, when Liereyy researches loom, you'll see his gold will go down to 50, and then once loom is complete, it'll bounce back up to 70. Now, why did I call the Spanish a paramilitary civilization? Because each and every single one of these units, their villagers, can actually be upgraded to get a massive 40 extra HP, +2/+2 armor, and a +6 attack boost, which together with the Sappers upgrade makes them amazing at taking down buildings, towers, walls, even castles in the late stage of the game, which may prove very bad news bears for the the Aztecs. They are notoriously missing some defensive upgrades. They don't even get masonry, no architecture, no hoardings for their castles, so they are very exposed to some supremacy Spanish villagers. Although that being said, supremacy Spanish villagers neither here nor there. We are 6 minutes in, both players getting loom, which is a cool time for me to point out the fact that Barles still has 100 gold since he did start the game with 150. And Liereyy, if you take a look at the top right, that 50 will become 70 as he gets 20 gold back as a rebate. So a couple of cool little things that we're already seeing here. Let's take a look at the attack path between the two players. Will Liereyy make alliances with local clans and tribes and other protectorates of the Aztec Empire? Will the European interloper be able to take down Tenochtitlan, guarded by General Barles Zuma? We'll take a look. For now, the attack path. Oh my goodness, this might be one of the most open attack paths I've seen in a while. A couple of hills here and there, very hilly up to the north, but pretty much A to B. I can get both TCs on one screen, which is generally a pretty good sign that we're going to see a lot of action, since the attack path is pretty darn narrow and short, and it's one of those weird maps in Age of Empires where 2/3 of the map, in this case the bottom 2/3, are pretty much not in play at all. Lots and lots of terrain, lots of very hilly ground, a little bit of stone, I don't see very much of anything else. Stone, gold, and a relic. 2 relics if you want to count the one here on the right. Everything else is pretty much, okay. Not very farmable land, not very lumberjackable forests. Eagle versus Scout. Let's see who wins here. Usually it's the Eagle that ends up dying first, but it looks like the Eagle actually has more HP. Lerey realizes that, tries to take the high ground, but Barles is not biting. And so Lerey absconds, saves his Scout, to be fair. Barles saves his Scout as well. Let's take a look at the bases. 2 lumber camps to the back. Forests very, very sparse, not very big at all. Primary stone, secondary, and tertiary gold, all 3 in the forward position. Yuckity yuck for our Aztec. Primary gold to the south and secure, and secondary stone to the back, secure next to a nice big forest. Ooh, will anybody go Viper style and put up a dock? Time will tell. I mean, this is a very cocky Scout here running through a TC firing zone. He's got 3 HP. Literally any villager can turn around right now, take out the sword that they all seem to be carrying somewhere in their pants and in their dress, and attack this Scout. But that's not happening. Spanish gold very much to the front, extra gold to the back, and 3rd gold, oh my goodness, very exposed to the front. Secondary stone to the bottom, primary stone to the top. Forests also kind of weak sauce. Both lumber camps to the back as well for our Spaniards. So in terms of bases, pretty much openness identical. Both of them have some expansions to the back. One player has the primary gold exposed to the front, although I'm not sure if this is walled in or not. I'm hoping for his sake Lerey dragged a palisade wall down and saw that it is, because it doesn't really seem like this house is connected to this archery range, which means this gold pile is exposed versus all of your extra resources. Your 2nd, 3rd gold, and your primary stone pretty much exposed. 2 Scouts now here. No kills yet. Both players 25 vills. Both players at 6 army count. Okay, Lerey went forward. Now he's going back. Yo-yoing his army left and right. Where's that super duper weak Scout? He is somewhere out on the map. He is not here. These are 3 of his very healthy, very strong, very hale compatriots. And they should be able to poke at some of these skirmishers and get them. Lerey retreats. Does not want to risk losing this army out in exchange for pretty much nothing. I would imagine these 3 Eagle Scouts could swarm those skirmishers. There's 1 archer, which is problematic, but the skirmishers are pretty much against 2 Pierce armor with their huge 2 attack. Do absolutely nothing. And where, oh where? Okay, now our Aztec has some archer units. Where, oh where is that super duper weak Scout? Is he? Oh, he's garrisoned inside the town center. I was wondering why I couldn't click him too easily. Lerey moves forward. I love the scouting that our Spaniard is getting. Always present, always moving forward, even though the bulk of his army remains at home. Never know when you're going to get swarmed by eagles. And this Scout cannot enter into a TC and heal up, and so he is still stuck with that 3 HP. Oh, come on. Somebody whip something out and kill this guy. 3 whole HP, but you know what he lacks in HP he makes up for in speed. And so Lerey getting an amazing amount of scouting. Barles for his part trying to get into here and see what's going on. To be fair, has seen pretty much everything. He has seen the archery range, the barracks, and somebody, like I said, whip something out. A javelin, an arrow, a spear, a sword, something, and get a kill. Where is that super duper weak Scout? He's still here to the back, being chased away by another Scout. But the pressure is being put on by our Aztec. He's up to 10 army count to 7. He's got the high ground. But skirmishers versus archers, not a fight you want to take, even with high ground. And there we go. Finally, 15.5 minutes into the game, it is our Spaniard Lerey who manages to get the first kill, draws first blood, saves the Scout still with 3 whole HP to the south. We'll see what he can accomplish. How much of the map has he seen, actually? Okay, so this Scout is on Scout duty. Not too sure how else to say it. Serpentine here. Now, this is not an army that Lerey really wants to posture with against Eagles. Especially now Eagles with +1 armor, even though you've got +1 fletching, which pretty much cancels it out. Although it does add the extra range as well, which means you do fire 1 tile quicker or 1 tile earlier. But the Eagle numbers are starting to get a little bit concerning here for our Spaniard. and they move in 6 of them. Oh, there's also an exposed villager here. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. Archers move in. They are attacking a house. They do not want to risk it against any of these skirmishers. Villagers safe and sound. Okay, well, micro from both players is so far on point. 17 minutes in. Both are heading up to the Castle Age. Our Spaniard about a minute ahead of his opponent. Okay, and there we go. The Eagles surround and catch out this archer army, which finds itself on the wrong side of the palisade. You are on the wrong side of the tracks. You're in my hood now, says the red eagle warrior as he guns down a few units. But to be fair, does manage to lose one of his own. Will the archers with fletching be able to get any of these villagers? No, they will not. Aztec to the north discovers there is a palisade wall. Aztec to the south. I still don't know if this... Okay, there we go. So now it's walled off. Although, again, it doesn't really look walled off, right? It looks like there's a bit of an alley here. Oh, Age of Empires. This game. It's so pretty, and yet the graphics sometimes are so confusing. Bloodlines immediately. Knight immediately for our Spaniard. The heavy mounted units are what's going to try to break through this Aztec blockade. How many stables? He's got 1 stable to the back, a market as well. Our Aztec has not seen any of this because the wall off from Lerey has been fantastic. The defense has been fantastic, even though he just lost yet another archer. And there we go. With the Spanish, always have to worry about fast castle. Not so much fast castle age, but an actual fast castle. The structure itself. Bloodlines. Husbandry. I think we know what we're about to see out of our Spaniard. It is a funny little man on a horse. He's got a gun. And his name rhymes with Schmistador. Did he manage to weaken the palisade behind this, or is he going to go after a fresh palisade? It's so hard sometimes if there's a palisade behind here to actually click it. And so the Aztec army, which was once everywhere, is now pivoted firmly to the north. More units streaming forward. Palisade is down. Eagles are in. Squires will make them run a little bit faster. Padded archer armor, pardon me, will make the crossbowmen a little bit tankier against the knight. But here it is, the Conquistador gun held at a 45-degree angle, ready to fire. Accuracy, terrible, 65%. But that being said, this is Lerey, and we know how his micro can go. Skirmishers to the right, Conquistadors to the left. Now they've switched position. Here we go. The micro begins. The dance of the Conquistadors. The dance of death. Eagles need to be very careful. This is a unit that hits on a massive 16 attack. So your extra chunky pierce armor means nothing to this unit. Now there are 4 Conquistadors. Oh no. 4 Conquistadors, I believe, should be enough to one-shot a crossbowman. They only do have 0 base pierce armor. Actually, maybe 3 even is enough to one-shot. Right now, they are just one-shotting everything because the Aztec is just unable to close on these quicker-moving cavalry units. And with that quicker-moving cavalry unit, is Lerey even going to lose a single unit here? He has just absolutely destroyed the entire expeditionary force of the Aztec. I mean, there's 1 weak Conquistador here, but I don't think he's going to get him. No! Lerey kills the entire army with 4 conks. Incredible. At the same time, another TC to the back with a very lazy villager waiting for his friend to come down these stairs so they can go drinking. A 3rd TC for our Aztec. Good amount of gold for our Aztec as well. Getting wheelbarrow finally. No economic upgrades at the moment in terms of villagers for our Spaniard. He is focusing purely on Conquistadors, and he should be. He's got 8. He's adding 2 more. 60 food, 70 gold. Makes it pretty much a little tiny bit cheaper than a knight, which is maybe a little bit too cheap for a unit this powerful. A knight still does attack on a 10. A knight still does need to close in on enemy units. These guys have range, albeit 6. First Vil kill of the game, also going to our Conquistadors, who are trying to bust in through this weak area. But now there's how many villagers? 7 inside the TC. Another villager kill. Okay, well, Ierey's numbers are just going up, up, up. Our Aztec is training what? Skirmishers. 0 villagers on stone. Now, like I said, if your opponent is the Spaniard, oh, another villager. If your opponent is the Spaniard and they are going conks, the Aztecs have one of the best skirmishers to deal with them. Now, skirmishers generally, I would imagine you need at least 2 to 1 in terms of numbers. So if Ierey's got 9 conquistadors, you definitely need maybe 20 to 25, to be honest, skirmishers. But if you can get a castle up, if you can get the castle age tech called Atalat, and you can add +1 attack and range to your skirmishers, they will be able to snipe these shorter range conquistadors from a mile away. Okay, well, now it's Barles' turn to defend. He's kill count 24 to 8, triple the kills. But our Aztec, somehow with 3 town centers, is still down villagers. Even though Iereyy hasn't really killed that many, he's only killed 3. We'll catch out yet another unit. This is something you cannot do against a unit that attacks on a 16. You cannot have straggler individual units feeding here and there. They cannot be on their own. You need the buddy system. You need to garrison them inside the archery range. You need to exit them behind where they're safe. And you need monks. That is definitely an amazing counter to these 6 range units having a 9 range monk. He's going to get Sanctity very, very soon, which will be his first technology. So it'll add the 15 HP. It'll add another 5 because, hey, we're watching the Aztecs. And there we go. With the skirmishers, he is starting to get a good number of conks here. This is a very cheap army for our Aztec. The problem is a Mangonel has now entered the chat through the north. What are you here to the south? Okay, a bunch of units from a time long gone, or a time gone by, and the players disengage. Our Aztec with the monk, there it is, the 15 plus another 5 is 50 HP. Will Iereyy heal these units? He's going up to 12 yet again. High ground skirmishers, high ground monk. I wonder if there is a high ground monk advantage in the works for some civilization in the near future when they do some balance change. If your monk is on the high ground, he converts 25% faster. Okay, a relic gotten, a second for our Spanish. Or if your units are on the high ground, they get converted 25% slower. There's redemption for our Aztec. Okay, so he wants to convert these Mangonels. Why the hell not? Eagle runs by, and again, you can't have individual units running by an army that packs a punch of 16. I mean, what's 7 times 16? 102? That's how much damage this army does every time it fires, minus armor, of course, but still 102. The Aztecs don't have a single unit that is even approaching triple-digit HP. Even their Eagle Warrior, their strongest HP heavy unit, is at 50 right now. And so you cannot run individual units by this clump of 8. What's 8 times 16? Even worse. Let's see it. Did I get that right? 7 times 16? I don't think I got that right. That's not 102, right? It's 112? Something in my brain from grade 5 is kicking in. I'm telling me I need to upgrade my math skills. Will the Mangonels get converted? The monk lines certainly are chasing them. Barles happy to sacrifice skirmishers as long as he can get these Mangonels. He gets 1. Okay, the attack round. Okay, well, he gets 1. It dies. Another conquistador dies. The conks escape to the south. The Mangonel escapes to the east, but he decides to delete it instead of giving it to the Aztecs. You will not gain the knowledge of heavy siege units from me, says Iereyy, as he destroys his own war machine to keep it out of the hands of those Aztec engineers to reverse engineer it. Okay, villagers, a lot of villagers with 761 stone. We know exactly what those villagers wanted to do before the Aztec army showed up. Where will that castle go? But now the conquistadors are kind of stuck in here between a very soft and a smush place here. Not exactly a rock and a hard place. They do have the mobility. They have a good amount of HP. But Ierey's starting to lose these conks. 5 are left. 4 are left. In the forward position, only 2. And there you go. Skirmisher numbers are just growing a little bit too fast, going a little bit too high. And what was probably going to be a very aggressive castle has now become a very middle-of-the-road castle, taking control of whatever that part of the map is. I mean, there's no resources here. I'm not sure this is really that strategic of a location. There is even higher ground to the north of it. Our Spaniard does hit Imperial first, as he did hit Castle first, but you know what? He's trading out conks for skirmishers. Just never a good idea. Eagle warriors on the way for our Aztec. And once he hits Imperial as well, in the next minute, we'll see what he does. Elite Conquistador. A Treb, obviously. And let's see. I mean, Lierey's just throwing away units at the moment. I'm not too sure how else to put it, though. Oh, here we go. The Feudal Age skirmishers that were forgotten here to the south are forgotten no longer. Mangonel is going to get chased, I'm assuming, by the villagers as the skirmishers close in on their weaker brethren to the south. Will the knight be able to stop? Yes, he is. A bit of a confusing battlefield here, Imperial Age for our Aztec as well. Light cavalry for our Spaniard. How exposed is his base? I'm very curious. Villagers getting healed by the monk. Oh, but it ultimately does die. Amazing set of events here. Treb is out. Conks are getting chased by skirmishers. They are elite. Their attack jumps to 18. Their HP jumps to 90. Somebody do something with this skirmisher already. No, you do not want to waste your faith on this one weak unit. Down he goes to the elite skirmishers of his opponent. Okay, well, the battle separates yet again. Iereyy did save his Treb. It's here to the back. He's got a good amount of gold. What will he invest it in? Will it be conquistadors? It is, in fact, hussars. So this is what I wanted to do. Let's see how walled in our Aztec is, because hussars are about to come out. So walled. I'm assuming this is walled. This doesn't look very walled to me. Looks like there's a tile missing here. And even if there wasn't, these conquistadors, again, they're just packing such a freaking punch. 11 dead villagers to 0, 12 to 1. All right, well, it looks like Eagles on the other side of the map to the rear of our Spanish base are getting a little bit of work done. 2 kills so far in terms of villagers, but oh no, Iereyy doesn't even need to micro right now. He just parks his ass right here and just gets villager after villager after villager kills. Our Aztec has managed to kill 3 so far, but our Spaniard has killed 21. And now the skirmisher numbers are just not great enough. Iereyy trying to abuse their minimum range. These are not Incan skirmishers. They do not have 0 min range. And so he is getting right up in their face to deny them the ability to fire. And that is exactly what happened. And now even more villagers are exposed. So Konk's trying to bust in through the front. Konk's killing villagers in the front. Eagles are still warriors, not elite. Our Aztec just does not have the resources right now to train what he wants to train. How's it going here to the back? Conquistadors are finally wrangled into service and shoot away these 4 eagles. Looks like 1 did die. And now you're facing hussars with eagle warriors. +3 attack bonus against cavalry will help out a little bit, including numbers, but eventually a trash unit versus a gold unit. The trash unit will obviously outnumber, outgun eventually. Although elite eagle warriors are on the way. Handcart for both players. Their economy's up and running as good as they can possibly get at this time of the game when both players are deciding, hey, should I continue to invest in my economy? How many villagers do I need to train to make sure the hussars don't destroy me or the eagles don't destroy me? And how much should I invest in military? So far, okay, I mean, the eagles managed to add 3 more kills. They're up to 10. And I don't see any Spanish units moving forward. There's also an eagle to the north here. We'll keep an eye on these eagles and see what they can get done. But a big Spanish army is moving forward. Hussars, 0 attack upgrades on the hussars. Okay. Armor upgrades galore. The Conquistador. Armor upgrades. And in comes the Spanish army. Villager kills. What's their accuracy once they're elite? Is it still the 65? No, it jumps up to 70. So it does improve a little bit. Hussars to the back will be able to stop a few of these villagers from running away unless they're just not looking or paying attention, which they are not. And so the Aztec villagers should escape, maybe not unharmed, but pretty much unharmed. The Eagles to the back of Lierey's base have been dealt with, which means the aggression again is firmly on the left side of our screen. 42 minutes into the game. Villager count basically identical. Army count basically identical. Skirmishers. A castle. And does he have Autolot? Pardon me. He does not have Autolot. Skirmishers are just on a +3. +4. My apologies. He did get chemistry as well. And the Spanish army is back. A single Treb working away at the TC. Not too sure a house is going to stand very long against how many units now that fire on an 18. And the Aztec, oh, he doesn't even bother to take a fight. He doesn't even bother to take a fight. He's created so many alleyways, so many nooks and crannies. How the hell is he going to take a fight? These Eagles are not designed to take fights and choke points. These skirmishers can't really do very much against Hussars that are fully armored with 6 pierce armor against their 7 attack. Literally 1 HP of damage done to these units. And Liereyy just refuses to engage. Liereyy refuses. And if he were to engage, probably would take the better fight. Who's kidding who? Again, these choke points do not inure to the benefit of the Eagle. They are all for the benefit of the Conquistador and the meat shield chunky unit that is the Hussar right now with 95 HP. Again, is so much better than any unit. The Meso Civ's just unfortunately lacking any kind of triple digit flesh and blood unit unless they convert a stable and get a Shalot warrior out. They just don't have anything as chunky as any civilization with mounted units, unfortunately. And so they're really, really, really relying on numbers. And when you really, really, really rely on numbers, you cannot take fights and choke points. And Barles, as much as I would have loved to see a massive engagement between, what is this, 41 army count and the Conquistadors, he would have just gotten slaughtered. Absolutely slaughtered. Even though, to be fair, the attack bonus against cavalry is now a 4. I mean, it does go up by 33%. Hussars have managed to get 5 villager kills. So both players tearing into each other. 11 villager kills since we last checked in on our Spaniard. 17 villager kills here to the back by our Aztec. So they tore into one another. Their economies at the end of the day, again, very identical. 98 to 102 villagers is not exactly a huge difference. Nothing to write home about. Army counts, again, identical. But I think Barles knows that, yeah, his base is a lot more exposed. The Hussars are here. They can bust their way in. By the way, again, I think this is still open, if I'm not mistaken. So they can bust their way in through multiple different locations, including full frontal, which is where the Aztec army is. And our Aztec, as much as he built all these little alleys and defensive wall-offs, kind of got shafted by them a little bit. I don't think he can really take a fight now. If this was a big open field, probably he could take a fight. He could maneuver his Eagles to run around the Hussars to try to get at the Conquistadors, or maybe he would have gone straight for the Hussars and the Skirmishers would have gone for the Conquistadors. Right now, he's got 41 army count wedged into a 2x2 tile radius. And that is not where you want to be, stuck in that little nook while your economy is about to get raided to Kingdom Come by these Hussars. And history repeats itself with the Spanish busting their way through the Aztec capital. And even though there is a castle up and a good number of villagers here gathering resources, I'm assuming he saw he didn't see the stone. That's so sour. That is so sour. One little tiny isthmus of darkness, and all of a sudden you see no stone. Now he does have stone in the back, but he can't really mine it with these Hussars here. Wow. How sour is that? That is really sour. That is very unfortunate for Barles not seeing the stone there. I'm assuming he would have mined stone, probably would have gotten another castle up for all the good that that's going to do. I don't think he's really got the resources to train what he wants to train in terms of trebs and stuff, but wow. Well, there you go. The Spanish bust their way in, and our Aztec says, as nice as my army is, I've basically just got forging. So even if they do close in on your army, not much they can do about it. The Aztecs are an offensive eagle civilization. The Incas are more of a defensive civilization in terms of having extra armor. The Mayans as well, in terms of having extra HP. They're both designed to last longer on the field of battle. The Aztec eagle is not here for a long time. He is here for a good skull-crushing time, with the +4 of Blast Furnace and then the +4 of Garland Wars, giving him a 17 attack, which is redonkulous. But he is nowhere close to that. He is at a 10 attack. And so Barles just a little bit too far behind upgrade-wise, way too far behind in terms of positioning of his army. And again, he could have repositioned it. He could have tried to take a fight out here, but then you're on the defense. Your barracks are exposed. There's already a Treb out. You're just a little bit too far behind. Step by step, our Spaniard just took the better fights overall with the Conquistadors, even though, to be fair, Barles, kudos to him, did take a better exchange a bunch of times, trading out skirmishers for eagles, which is never good for the, skirmishers for conquistadors, which is never good for the conks. I also just noticed that there's a ladder going up to the house. So I guess they gotta hang out on their roofs here. There's like a bowl. There's not a bad little rooftop patio here on these houses. But ultimately, the Spaniard busts his way in. 61 conquistadors, pretty much taking on whatever the hell he wanted to. And he went so heavy into late game army that his third most trained unit were those 7 skirmishers that existed in feudal and then died in castle. Right at the beginning of the game is the PKPM for our Spaniard. Right in the middle of the game is the PKPM for our Aztec. And let's see whose economy was bigger. It is our Spaniard, but if you remove the relics, by about only 5%. Well, there you go. Barles getting the wood, everything else going to Liereyy. Conversions 2-1, not really playing a role. Raisings 3-0, not really playing a role. What more played a role is the kill count, double for our Spaniard. He just kept his units alive a lot longer. They pack more of a punch, and even though these fresh recruits only have 17 kills, the other 34? Yeah, the other 34 that he trained really did the job, got the job done. That moment when those 4 conquistadors basically shoot away the entire Aztec army and then killed it was an absolute epic display of micro. Unfortunately, since then, like I said, Liereyy took a few very not great fights. Ultimately, though, did manage to bust his way in. Our Barles may have wanted to spend maybe a little bit of stone to try to defend his settlement instead of just houses and palisades, because again, this is an 18 attack unit, and even if you have armor of 10, 18 attack is still pretty darn good. And having busted his way into the Aztec base, Tenochtitlan has fallen. It is, or rather is about to fall, with this one more Trebball that is about to crash into this town center. And with that falling of the capital, I think Barles just realizes he's a little bit too far behind. The Aztec army is not equipped to deal with the almighty powerful Spanish army. 18 attack, armor not fully upgraded. Also, to be fair, you know, the oh my goodness, the Hussar also just at forging, and so only at a +1. But again, this unit has 95 HP to your best unit, which has 60. And so they're around a little bit longer, and they're around as a meat shield for the unit that attacks on an 18. And there's a whole bunch of that unit around. And with that unit, with the great micro and with the busting through of the Aztec defenses, is Liereyy who takes the W. But GG to both players.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.